How to develop good habits and say goodbye to bad ones. Every day, when we wake up at 6 a.m., how do we feel? And then, we start with personal hygiene at 6:05 a.m., don't we? But have you ever wondered if these actions become extremely boring and exhausting? The fact is, in our daily lives, there are many simple actions, such as washing, tying shoelaces, checking emails, walking, having dinner, watching TV, and there are more complex actions, such as how we organize our work during the day. Perhaps we have become familiar with all of these things, right? Imagine these habits as close friends. They have become an indispensable part of our lives. In fact, a scientific study by Duke University in 2006 found that over 40% of our daily behaviors are the result of these habits. Surprising, isn't it? Habit is the activities we perform regularly without needing to think too much. For example, driving may seem complicated and require concentration. However, because it has become a habit, we can easily perform it without thinking too much. That is the powerful effect of habit. Have you ever wondered why we have habits? Scientists believe that habits are formed by the desire of the brain to reduce the workload of the mind. Our brain always tries to turn daily activities into habits, because when we act in accordance with habits, the brain can rest more often. That is why habits have become an important part of our lives. It's amazing to look at our daily habits. We can see that patients who have lost their memory due to illness or injury are still able to perform basic activities that they used to do daily based on habit. Imagine patient Eugene, who suffered from encephalitis and lost memory of his age, family, and even his home map. But he can still find his way to the kitchen when he wants to eat. That is truly remarkable, isn't it? So now, think about your habits. Which habits do you want to build and which habits do you want to say goodbye to? There is an interesting story related to the formation of habits. Researchers at MIT used microtechnology to study habits by observing the brain activity of mice in a maze experiment. The mice were separated from a piece of chocolate by a barrier. However, after a loud click, the barrier opened and the mice were able to enter the maze to search for the chocolate. The mice went up and down, sniffed and scratched the walls, based on the clues and signals around them. You can imagine the colorful journey that the mice went through, can't you? The experiment has shown that the brain of the mouse actively processes information from smell, sound, and image to help the mouse find its way to the chocolate. This experiment has been repeated many times, and the result is that the mouse has become familiar with the direction to find the chocolate to the point where it does not have to think too much. Actions such as going straight, turning left, and eating chocolate have been stored in the basal ganglia and performed automatically. This process, when the brain converts a series of actions into automatic behavior, is called chunking and is the origin of habits. Imagine our habits, such as the habit of driving a car. At first, we have to work hard to perform a series of complex actions, such as opening the door, adjusting the seat, starting the car, and many other actions. But after a while, we have become so proficient that we don't need to think much. Those complicated actions have become habits, automatic behavior. This helps us to think about other things or talk to others while driving. So have you ever experienced similar states when performing an action out of habit? Share your experiences with me. Have you ever thought about the three-step cycle of habits? It is a process that we develop and form in the basal ganglia of the brain. The first step of this cycle is trigger. It functions as a start button to put the brain into automatic mode and choose a habit to use. In the experiment with mice, the sound click was used, while for the driver, turning the key is the starting point. The next step is the chain of activities taking place. It could be physical, mental, or emotional activities. The mouse starts moving, observing, and smelling, while the driver begins to perform driving maneuvers, and the final step is the reward for the actions performed. For the mouse, it's a piece of chocolate. For the driver, it's the movement from one place to another. The brain evaluates this reward and decides whether the loop is worth remembering and repeating as a habit or not. Have you ever wondered what the role of reward is throughout this process? Let me tell you. Studies have shown that activation and reward create habits, but they are not enough to maintain a long-term habit. What is important is that our brain desires those rewards. Only then can the habit be sustained. Imagine an example. A study at the University of New Mexico examined 266 people to understand their regular exercise habits. The results showed that 92% of them reported that exercise brings them more joy, thanks to the pain reduction from hormones and nerve conduction that exercise brings. At the same time, 67% reported that exercise gives them a sense of achievement, as they conquer themselves every time they complete a workout. Have you ever experienced similar feelings when performing a habit? Share your feelings with me and whether there were any rewards that played an important role in maintaining your habit. Only when your brain is eager for rewards such as pain-reducing hormones or the feeling of success will tying your shoelaces every morning become automatic. This means that in addition to creating a chain of automatic behaviors, activation also evokes the desire to get the reward. Think about it. Have you ever encountered a similar situation? When an external factor influences you, like an alarm clock ringing, has your brain automatically reacted and decided which habits are appropriate in that situation? Next, imagine a typical day. You are doing your daily activities. When you enter the bathroom and brush your teeth, your brain operates automatically like an automatic driver on a car. Finally, when you receive a reward, such as the feeling of success or the lively peppermint flavor dancing in your mouth, your brain activity is once again enhanced. This serves as proof of the success of the chain of stages of activity and the link between suggestion and habit. Have you ever wondered about the incredible ability of habits to recover? Even in cases where people suffer severe brain damage and cannot remember where they live, they still adhere to their old habits and form new ones. This is due to the process of learning and maintaining habits taking place in the basal ganglia. A part of the brain can function normally even when other parts are damaged. Unfortunately, this recovery ability also means that even if you give up a bad habit such as smoking, you still have the risk of relapse. Have you had any experiences related to giving up a habit and facing the risk of relapse? The golden principle for changing habits is what? The fact is that habits are difficult to completely eliminate, but they can be replaced with a new habit. You may have experience trying to change a habit, but have you kept the same activation and reward during that process and just changed the behavior? This is really not easy. Imagine you are watching an American football game. A fierce competition full of strategies and sneaky games. Skilled coaches often develop various tactics to blind and distract their opponents. They teach the athletes how to recognize the opponent's movement signals and think about appropriate, even unexpected, tactics to apply. However, Coach Dungy applies the opposite method. He doesn't care about teaching the team many tactics or how to distract the opponent. Instead, he focuses on training the team to master specific tactical patterns. Players are still activated by observing and predicting the opponent's movements. But instead of analyzing and thinking about which tactics to apply, they automatically perform actions that have been trained and practiced many times to turn them into habits. Even if the opponent guesses this simple tactic, they still can't stop it because Dungy's players quickly and skillfully perform these habitual actions. Thanks to the training method of changing habits from observing and thinking to observing and automatically acting, Coach Dungy has brought success to the Book team and one for the Indianapolis Colts team. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, is an organization that supports individuals who struggle with alcohol addiction to quit drinking. During the process of assistance, AA focuses on breaking the cycle of habit and attempting to change the behavior of those struggling with addiction, as they begin to feel the triggers of their drinking habit. Instead of alcohol, AA decided to use belladonna, a drug that produces hallucinatory effects. Have you ever wondered why people drink alcohol when they want to forget something or relieve anxiety and sadness? AA cleverly established a network of friends to meet and accompany alcohol addicts. Instead of drinking with drinking buddies, they found comfort through sharing their emotions with supportive people or participating in group meetings. AA also encourages people who want to change their habits to nurture a strong belief that they can change. For some people, this belief may have a spiritual element, while for others, strong belief is built and developed with their group. This approach has been successfully applied in the treatment of other addictions such as drugs, gambling, cigarettes, and food. Therefore, what is the golden rule to change any habit? Instead of resisting the desire, why not redirect it? Keep the suggestions and rewards, but change the habits that result from that desire. Important habits can be replaced by other habits. The important thing is that these important habits will create small victories, synonymous with easy initial success. Success in building important habits will help you believe that changes in other areas of life are possible, and from there, you can start a chain of positive changes. Research has shown that people who exercise regularly tend to have better diets and more efficient activity levels. They smoke less and have more patience towards others. Additionally, they also use credit cards less and experience less stress. Children in families often practice the habit of having dinner together with love and companionship, and this brings more benefits than you can imagine. They not only develop better household skills, but also perform better academically, become more confident, and have better emotional control. What makes making the bed in the morning an important habit? Perhaps it is because those who do this often have better work productivity and feel more prosperous. Regular exercise, eating rice with family, and making the bed daily. These are key habits that create a chain of positive reactions, helping other beneficial habits to prevail. Listen to the story of the key habit of the Alcoa steel plant. Mr. O'Neill, a former successful government official and experienced manager, was invited to be the CEO of Alcoa steel plant. However, he had a difference compared to other CEOs. He did not just focus on common business indicators. Instead, Mr. O'Neill identified that workplace safety behavior was a crucial and important habit. He declared that his top priority was to implement a safety policy and to turn Alcoa into a place without workplace accidents. This challenging goal initially shocked investors and management. Mr. O'Neill's plan is built on a habit cycle. First, the trigger. Whenever an accident occurs with a worker, the direct department leader must immediately report to Mr. O'Neill within 24 hours to ensure that the incident will not recur. Then, to the action step. Only those who comply with this accident reporting procedure will be promoted and rewarded. To implement this plan, the entire reporting system in the factory has been adjusted so that information from the lower level, the workers, can be quickly passed on to the upper level, the leaders, and ultimately, Mr. O'Neill. Workers not only work according to standard technical procedures, but are also given additional power to carry out tasks appropriate to their abilities and positions. Furthermore, raw materials are also used more economically to minimize accidents. The creative feedback from low-level workers and employees is truly amazing. Superiors are willing to listen to those opinions. And after a period of applying the habit of occupational safety, the results are truly surprising. The accident rate in Alcoa is only 120 compared to the average in the US. Not only that, costs decreased, quality and productivity increased significantly, and the company's profits even quadrupled. Mr. O'Neill succeeded by choosing the right key habits and focusing on implementing this habit change successfully. The result is that other positive habits of the Alcoa workforce have also changed positively. Starbucks, the leading coffee chain in the US and the world, is also a prime example of leading the way in training employees on good habits. One of the key habits that Starbucks teaches its employees is willpower, the most important habit for personal success in the job. Starbucks employees are trained to have willpower, discipline, to always show up on time and be enthusiastic throughout their work. They are also taught how to control their emotions in order to always serve customers with joy and a desire to provide them with perfect coffee. Starbucks also teaches employees a customer service system called Latte: listen, acknowledge, take action, thank, explain. They are also taught how to identify and categorize customers in order to provide proper service. Each action is practiced until it becomes a habit. These good habits of employees are one of the contributing factors to Starbucks' success. The power of willpower seems to be a key habit that can be applied in many other aspects of life. Do you find it interesting? I am truly excited to delve deeper into and discover that willpower is not just an innate quality but also a learnable skill. But why do we have strong willpower on some days and contrastingly weak on others? That truly intrigues me. Can you explain this to me? It turns out that willpower is like a muscle. It can also get tired. When you use it too much and focus on the mundane tasks like a spreadsheet in your work, there is no will left to do anything else besides sitting on the sofa. That's interesting, isn't it? However, the similarities between willpower and muscles don't just end there. By engaging in habits that demand determination, such as adhering to a strict diet, you can truly enhance the strength of your willpower. That really is a way to exercise your willpower. Do you think so? Other studies have also shown that a lack of autonomy has a negative effect on willpower. When we do something only because we have been ordered to do so, rather than through our own choice, our muscles of willpower tire much faster. This demonstrates the importance of habits not only in personal life, but also in organizations and businesses. All habits include a loop of cue action reward. And the simplest way to change this is to replace the usual actions with different ones, while still maintaining the cue and reward. This can bring about long-term changes in life, even though it may be difficult. I believe that it can be achieved by focusing on key habits such as the power of willpower. Thank you for listening to my sharing. I hope you found them interesting and have your own feelings about willpower.